it's time for Today in Music History. Welcome to my new podcast. My name is Arno Betts. I am your host. This podcast is basically stories and information about music. The songs, the bands, the events, the inspirations. Music has been in my life as far back as I can remember. Now that we have this internet, I can do research and get all the info behind the bands and the artists and their songs that you and I have listened to over the years. I have found some nuggets for today, August 31st, 2019. So if you enjoy this same theme, you are in the right place with me. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, and on this day, August 31st, 1957, Elvis Presley appeared at the Empire Stadium in Vancouver, Canada. This was only the third time ever Presley had performed outside of the United States, and for Elvis, it would be the last. 26,000 fans attended the show with tickets costing $1.50 to $3.50. 1963, the Ronettes. The Ronettes first entered the U.S. singles chart with Be My Baby, the girls' group only top 10 hit. Lead singer Veronica Bennett, who became Ronnie Spector, took producer and ex-husband Phil Spector to court in the late 1990s for unpaid royalties. 1968, the Rolling Stones. Decca Records released what has been called the Rolling Stones' most political song, Street Fightin' Man, written after Mick Jagger attended a March 68 anti-war rally at London's U.S. Embassy, during which mounted police attempted to control a crowd of 25,000. The single was kept out of the U.S. Top 40, reaching number 48, because many radio stations refused to play it based on what were perceived as subversive lyrics. And on August 31st of 1968, Arthur Brown. The Move, The Pretty Things, The Crazy World of Arthur Brown, Orange Bicycle, Jefferson Airplane, Fairport Convention, and Tyrannosaurus Rex all appeared at the first Isle of Wight Festival held over 2 days. Tickets were 25 shillings, or $3. 1971, Brian Jones. The Rolling Stones, plus the father of Brian Jones, filed a high court writ against ex-managers Oldham and Easton, claiming they made a secret deal with Decca Records in 1963 to deprive the group of royalties. August 31st of 1974, Traffic. Traffic made their last live performance at the annual UK Reading Festival. Other acts appearing included Alex Harvey, 10cc, Focus, Steve Harley, and Procol Harum. 1976, George Harrison. George Harrison was found guilty of subconscious plagiarism of the Ronnie Mac song He's So Fine when writing My Sweet Lord. Earnings from the song were awarded to Mac's estate. The Chiffons then recorded their own version of My Sweet Lord. 1984, Prince. Purple Rain, the movie starring Prince, opened at cinemas across the UK with special late-night previews. The film grossed more than $80 million at the box office and became a cult classic. August 31st of 1985, Dire Straits. Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits started a 9-week run at number 1 on the U.S. album charts. The album also topped the charts in 25 other countries and went on to sell over 20 million worldwide. August 31st of 1985, Chrissie Hynde. UB40 with guest vocals from Chrissie Hynde had the UK #1 single with their version of the Sonny Bono song, I Got You Babe, a hit for Sonny and his wife Cher in 1965. 1986, Bob Geldof. After living together for 10 years, Bob Geldof married TV presenter Paula Yates in Las Vegas with Duran Duran singer Simon Le Bon as the best man. Yates died of a drug overdose on 17th September 2000. 1987, Michael Jackson. The largest pre-order of albums in the history of CBS Records occurred as 2.25 million copies of Michael Jackson's Bad album were shipped to record stores in the U.S. The LP followed the Jackson album Thriller, the biggest Jackson seller of all time. Over 35 million copies were sold. Bad went on to sell over 13 million. 1990, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Jackson Browne, Bonnie Raitt, and Stevie Wonder sang Amazing Grace at a memorial service held for guitarist Stevie Ray Vaughan, who had been killed in a helicopter crash 4 days earlier. 1991, Metallica. Metallica started a 4-week run at #1 on the U.S. album chart with Metallica. The album featured Enter Sandman, Sad But True, The Unforgiven, and Nothing Else Matters. Went on to sell over 10 million copies in the U.S. alone. 1997, October 31st, Oasis. Excuse me. Oasis went on to #1 on the UK album chart with their third album, Be Here Now. The album had sold over 1 million copies on the first day of release. At that point, Oasis were at the height of their fame, and Be Here Now became the United Kingdom's fastest-selling album to date. 2003, August 31st, Elton John. Elton John went to #1 on the UK singles chart with Are You Ready for Love? The song was recorded in 1977, but wasn't released until 1979, when it reached number 42. It was used by Sky TV for their Premiership football ads. 2004, Carl Wayne. Carl Wayne, the singer with The Move, died from cancer. They had the 1969 UK #1 single, Blackberry Way. Wayne also worked with The Hollies. 2004, Thorax. UK medical magazine Thorax issued a warning to music fans saying that listening to loud music in the car can give you a collapsed lung. One 19-year-old had been treated in Bristol after his left lung collapsed as his 1,000-watt bass box boomed out in his Fiat Panda. 2006, Ozzy Osbourne. The Times ran a story on the demands of rock stars when on tour. Ozzy Osbourne insists on an eye, ear, nose, and throat doctor at each venue. The Beach Boys require a licensed masseur. Meatloaf, he needs a mask and one small tank of oxygen. David Bowie requests that the dressing room temperatures is between 14 degrees and 18 degrees Celsius. And Paul McCartney must have a large arrangement of white Casablanca lilies in his dressing room. Mick Jagger must have an onstage auto cue with the lyrics to all the songs. It would also tell him the name of the city in which they were performing. 2007, Hilly Crystal. Hilly Crystal, founder of the New York punk club CBGB, died from complications arising from lung cancer at the age of 75. Crystal was credited with discovering Patti Smith and the Ramones, and his club became a breeding ground for punk rock. The New York City venue, whose full title CBGB OMFUG stood for Country, Bluegrass, Blues, and Other Music for Uplifting Gormandizers, was originally launched to showcase country music. And finally, on August 31st, 2014, Jimmy Jamison. Jimmy Jamison, the lead singer for U.S. rock band Survivor, who sang and co-wrote I'm Always Here, the theme tune for the hit TV series Baywatch, died aged 63. The band are best known for their 1982 hit The Eye of the Tiger, which predated Jamison's joining the group. This is just some of the things I found that happened in musical history. I hope you enjoyed this show. My name is Arno Betts, and I want to personally thank you for listening. I hope I entertained you enough to have you keep coming back. I'm new at this podcasting, and I'm sure my show will improve with more practice. Thank you again, and I will be back with another episode of Today in Music History. Take care.